Good morning. Little recap of our shenanigans last week. Wilderness Responder 2025 in the vicinity of Refuge HQ, Spiro, Oklahoma area, and a little day trip to Moyock, North Carolina. 2,600 miles round trip. Average moving speed over 58 hours at 55 miles per hour, including 9 or 10 hours on site. And some life lessons and philosophy in this as well. And I'm shooting this video because many of y'all have asked for, yes, Bear, please, a recap of your shenanigans. Okay, cool. So let's recap the shenanigans. And also, as a warning, this is probably going to be R-rated, so if you're one of those people that's offended by sounds or you have little ears in the room, this is probably not the video for them. Truck is reminding me to change oil soon. Yes, sir, I will. You got it, truck. No problem. I intend to do that this week. So we had our first ever refuge wilderness responder this past Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and it was great. We had 21 students. We had 6 instructors, including myself. We taught the ECSI 32-hour comprehensive wilderness first aid curriculum. 100% of the students passed the written exam, and they are all now accredited in that. This is 1/5 of an associate's degree in wilderness medicine through the University of Utah, which is pretty cool. We had excellent students and excellent instructors. My grading curve is on attitude first. It's about 2/3 attitude and 1/3 technical proficiency within the scope of the instruction that the student has received. And that's for civilian students, law enforcement, DOD personnel, EMS, fire, paramedic, etc. Because it's much harder to teach attitude than it is to teach technical proficiency. Technical proficiencies, dwell time, reps and sets, low pressure, no pressure, low pressure, high pressure, scenario-based training. Attitude's much harder to teach. And so I have, and I will continue to, bump students from class based upon poor attitude, especially when you're training employees of governments at any level, whether that's local or federal. A lot of them have a mandatory training mindset. It's just another training that I got, another death by PowerPoint. Well, that's not what we do, sir. That's not what we do, ma'am. But if their attitude sucks, I'll just point towards the door and say, hey, it's time for you to go. They're like, but this is a mandatory training. Yes, you're correct, and you're excluded from it. But I have to do this. My boss says I have to do this. Yeah, correct. Go tell your boss you're a shitty student. Because I will certainly be telling your boss you're a shitty student in the written assessment that I provide to your boss after this class. I'll be sure to note that you're a shitty student. So we did not have any of those issues in Wilderness Responder. It was taught on a ridge in the shadow of a mountain that was beautiful. The father totally smiled on us regarding weather. We were about 20 to 25 degrees below the statistical average temperature for this time of year in Oklahoma, which was great because it mitigated the threat of heat casualty. Shut up, Sheriff. Ain't nobody talking to you. Let me turn my radio down. So, I posted a fair bit of video from that. A lot of positive feedback, a lot of interest in the class. A few shit talkers. One person to the effect of was like, why are people paying money to hang out with this shill and YouTube hack? It's like, maybe I am a shill. YouTube is an advertising platform. masquerading as a content platform. Always has been, always will. That's why Google bought it 15 years ago. It's an advertising platform. If I'm going to advertise, I'd rather advertise for me than advertise for some nameless, faceless corporation, or some Temu dropshipper or something like that. As far as a hack, well, I don't know. I've got my NAEMT certs. I've got my experience. I've got my 155 lives saved to date. I've got my dozens of times I've rendered aid. I've got, I don't know, 50,000 plus kits on 4 different continents, which we'll get to that in a moment when we get to Moyock. I've got our instructor Mike out there, who's been in professional EMS for 30 years, and before that was a doctor of Marines. I've got Ed from Iridium Group out there, who basically is over the civilian side pre-hospital medicine for Canada, TECC, like the country. Okay, total hack, right? Got Striker Kate out there teaching soldiering skills, which he's more than qualified to do because he was a soldier. I've got, you know what I mean? How far down the rabbit hole do we got to go before it's like, well, your nameless, faceless internet comment is invalid? Okay, so the students themselves had a blast. They had a good time. I had the opportunity to personally speak with about 2/3 of the students after class, and every student got to spend time with every instructor. And of the 14, 15 students that I got some one-on-one time with at the end of the class, every student was like, "This was great, thank you." And the question that I always ask is, did you learn something and did you get value out of this? And every student, regardless of their background, whether they're already in professional medicine, or they're a chef, or they own a company and they operate a company, or they're a contractor, or they're an attorney, or whatever it might be, right? Regardless of their background, every single student said that, yeah, absolutely, this class was more than worth it. I learned a ton of stuff. And this was the phrase that I kept hearing over and over again, and it was wonderful. Vastly exceeded my expectations. Good. So, not only did we teach the ECSI 32-hour comprehensive wilderness medicine curriculum, we taught it in context, because you can get accredited in wilderness medicine via a Zoom call in a classroom. And I think that's stupid, because that's not the wilderness. Now, definitively, wilderness is any pre-hospital care. Wilderness medicine is any pre-hospital care that takes place 1 hour or more from definitive care, a higher level of care. And so it's entirely possible for people that live in urban and suburban areas to be engaged in wilderness medicine because of the lead times required to elevate to definitive care. EMS, hospital is definitive care. The hospital is definitive care. So we taught it in situ, in the woods of eastern Oklahoma, on a ridge in the shadow of a mountain, where people were rucksack camping for 3 days and eating the food that they brought and having to purify water and make fire and boil water and navigate and get pace counts and carry a rifle. Just carry a rifle for 3 days, and ruck in and ruck out with man-portable systems, people-portable systems. And the TLOs, the terminal learning objectives, just all stack on top of one another. So you learn, like, the learning begins at the layout before we step off, and it doesn't end until weeks, months afterwards, because you're still processing the lessons that you learned while you were in the field. Using a saw, using a knife, using cordage. What is a poncho? A poncho is everything you want it to be. What is a triangle bandage? A triangle bandage is at least 100 different things employed properly. It's everything. What's a little piece of paracord? It's whatever you want it to be. It's an infinity different things. So It was a blast. It was a really good time. We're looking at a couple of other locations to be able to bring this class based upon demand to the Rockies and to Appalachia. So I've got a location in Virginia where we can teach this class currently, and I'm working on a location in Wyoming where we can teach this class. And so those are likely to come. Stay tuned to the website for that regarding dates other than the foothills of the Ozarks, which is where we are currently. I think it'd be cool to be able to teach this class in the Rockies, the Ozarks, and Appalachia. I think that'd be very cool. So that's kind of the intermediate goal with Wilderness Responder 2025, right? Wilderness Responder, the curriculum, having just wrapped Wilderness 2025. There is another date in the class, I believe it's in May, here in eastern Oklahoma for Wilderness again. So that's concrete, set in stone. Logistics for that, groundwork for that's already been laid. So if you want to come to that class, refugemedical.com, click the training tab, you'll find the Wilderness Responder class. So that's super cool. We had a blast teaching it. It's a lot of fun. One of the things that we did was we broke the students into 6 different teams because we had 6 different instructors, and then we rotated. We're in the field for 3 days, so each team spent a half a day with a different instructor, so that every team got face time and context and dwell time with every instructor. And I heard back from a lot of the students that they really enjoyed that was a good aspect of it. I enjoyed it too. And so we got done with that Tuesday evening. One of the students brought a cooler full of 35 ribeyes, and then our brother Buckets and Bibles cooked those ribeyes up, and they were waiting for us at the bottom of the mountain. So when everybody got back to where the Vicks were parked, dropped their packs, steaks and macaroni and cheese and brownies and just all that stuff. It was great. And so we got done with that Tuesday night, went home, took a shower, took a little nap, and left for Moyock, North Carolina early Wednesday morning because we had to arrive in Moyock, North Carolina early Thursday morning. And we went via ground vehicle, this truck and another truck. We'll talk about this truck in a minute. I seriously considered flying, even though I hate flying. I hate commercial flying because I don't like the TSA sticking fingers where they don't go. And I'm definitely on a bunch of lists. But the reason we didn't fly was we had a significant amount of stuff to take with us. We had a 14-foot trailer full of stuff because this was an industry event. So we had a booth, we had lots of tourniquet and wound packing samples. True Clot and TACMed hooked us up with a bunch of gauze and fake blood and moulage bleeders and all of that, so that we could do what we do at this event. So we drive out there with the trailer full of stuff, team driving all the way there. It was 24 and a half hours there. Should have been about 21 hours, 22 hours. However, one of the batteries in this truck, it's a diesel, so it's got 2 batteries. One of the batteries in this truck, particularly the starter battery, the one on my anatomical left, driver's side, about 100 miles into the trip, man, I'm smelling something weird. That doesn't smell good. And so we pull over and pop the hood and look, and the battery is bubbling and melting. Like the plastic of the battery is melting. There's battery acid bubbling out of the thing. It's like, well, that's no good. Okay. So we were able to find a Walmart, and that was the nearest thing to us that had batteries. We were able to find a battery that would fit in the truck. Take the old battery out to bring it in to swap it out, and the old battery, nitro gloves, the whole 9. Mike's got the battery in a Walmart shopping cart, and you can't touch the cart because the battery's discharging voltage into the metal cart. Yeah, it's great. Get a new battery in, get down the road, about 100 miles down the road, and and I hear a underneath the hood. Well, what the hell is that? So we pull over and look, and the battery acid had fallen out of the battery onto the turbo exhaust pipe tube. You know what I'm talking about, hose. It's an assembly composed of steel pipe and rubber hose, about 2.5, 3 inches in diameter. And so the battery acid had a hole in it. So now I lose my turbo boost, so the truck's running like garbage, blah, blah, blah. We, man, praise the Most High, we had Brother Heath with us, because he was up in the guts of this truck like 4 times on this trip. So we pull the hose out, we wrap it with aluminum duct tape, not duct tape, duct tape, and zip tape for zip board, and that holds a little bit, blows a hole. So then we do the same thing again with the SAM splint, covering up the hole, wrap it up again. That holds for a little bit until it blows a hole right through the SAM splint. You know, you're talking very hot gas under pressure, 20 to 40 pounds boost. And so it blows a hole through that. But Dudley was able to call around to, I don't know, all of the Midwest, and Dudley found another hose on the south side of Memphis, in the ghetto, which was fine. It's whatever. Fear nothing but Yahweh your Elohim, the Lord your God. So we got that hose, slapped that hose on, that solved that. We finally arrived in Moyock. We're supposed to be there no later than 0700. We get there, I think, at 0720, something like that. Show starts at 0830. And so we get in there, we set up our booth, get the VIX parked, the whole nine, the doors open, and this is an industry range day. It was described to me by the people who invited us, which is our bros over at Born Primitive. They invited us out to the event to come be the medical people at this event, and to exhibit, right? To have a booth and do what we do. And so we get all set up, we're there, and what was really cool about Moyock, and for those that don't know, this is the Constellus Training Center. It's formerly the Blackwater site. It's like 3,800 acres. It's the largest training facility in North America, and arguably the best, one of the best. Definitely in its heyday was the best. I mean, they've got 19 ranges. They've got lakes that they've dug for maritime operations. They got a building just for canine operations. It's 8 times the size of our refuge HQ here. Lodging on site, and you can land planes and helicopters, and rappelling towers, and blah 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 blah. Driving, and all of it. You do whatever you want there. And so went out there, had a blast, got to hang out with the Born Primitive guys, talk with them quite a bit, talk with the First Form Outdoors people. That was awesome. Jeff from Sub Second was really good dude. Meeting him, they make like battle belts made here in America. Sub Second. Justin from TAC 11 Armor, really enjoyed spending time with him. Ron from True Clot, Jen from TACMed, Greg from Otis. Just a bunch of good people out there. And what was really cool was Moyock was the first event that we've been to, and we're coming up on our 5th year birthday. So October 21st, Refuge will be 5 years old. So we're like pre-K, you know what I mean? We're out of the toddler phase. We can wipe our own ass. We're not ready for the training wheels to come off the bicycle yet, though. But it was the first event that we've been to where, and it might be the type of event as well, because that matters, context matters, where our brand reputation preceded us. I didn't have to do a single ShamWow thing. It was awesome. We're at our booth, like for example, we're at our booth and we're talking to a couple of county sheriffs from, insert county here. And they're, fondling the kits. We're having a little bit of conversation, the whole nine. And these two dudes come walking up. No, it was actually 4 dudes. Big dudes. And when I say big, I mean muscular, jacked, fit. They got their cool guy shades on. And they're just, right? Operators. They move like big cats. And they come walking up and they're like, "Sup, you Refuge?" We're like, "Yeah, we're Refuge. What's up?" And they go, "Hey man, love your shit. Awesome. Who are you?" "I'm Jim. This is Bill. That's Bob. That's Tim." "Okay, cool. What's up?" Like, "Yeah, man. Run your shit in the Sandbox, run your shit in North Africa, run your shit a couple of other places. I got one of these in my plate carrier and one of those on my war belt. I carry one of those in my vehicle. I got that thing in my rucksack, man. Like, it's the best. Like, thank you guys for what you do. It's the best." One guy's like, "My buddy's still alive because of that kit." And I'm like, "Are you this with that?" He's like, "Yeah, that was us. We sent you an email." I was like, "No shit. Dude, it's good to meet you. Thank you." And they're like, "No, it's good to meet you. Thank you." And these 2 county sheriffs are standing there as we're talking to these Marsoc guys, and they're just like, "How do we get some of that?" I said, "Well, this is Heath. Exchange information with Heath. I'd be happy to set you up." And then they move along and shake hands, and talk with everybody. Got to pray with several people as well. Minister to a few, imagine that. And next group comes through and it's some more cops. And don't get me wrong, I love cops, but it's interesting seeing the ebb and flow of ego, right? Because we're talking to another group of law enforcement officers, and these 2 guys come walking over, and you can, man, SEALs should just be in shampoo commercials. They all got great hair. They're all fit. They're all wearing shades. You know what I mean? Like, every one of them should be in a shampoo commercial. And if you are a SEAL watching this, and I know some of you guys are or were, it's true. You guys you look so great. Right? You just need like ocean spray, just like, right? Maybe like a bar of soap commercial. And so these 2 SEALs come walking over and they're like, "What's up? You guys Refuge?" And we're like, "Yeah. Who are you guys?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's Todd and this is Bill or Phil or whatever." Like, "Tracking. What's up? How can we help you guys?" Like, "Hey, love your shit. It's awesome." I'm like, "Thanks, appreciate that." They're like, "No, for real. Like, it's great. Been some places, done some things, and it's the best we've ever used." Cool. I just quoted 800 op facts. 800 op facts to a group. We'll just put it that way. And so it was really cool to meet a bunch of our high-speed end users in person and shake their hands and hear their stories. And we didn't have to sell anything because that was happening right in front of our booth amongst all these other potential clients who were like, "How do we get some of that?" Right? And so like the endorsement from people who have been there, done that in real life was it was just a beautiful thing to see. And I love meeting end users and hearing their stories and shaking their hands, looking them in the eye, praying over them in some cases. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. Made a ton of good connections, many of which I have to follow up on this week. I don't want to speak out of turn, but there's some large potential things coming out of that, including for y'all, access to training facilities that we would never otherwise have access to. Potentially working on the kinks out of that this week. Found some really cool training aids as well, specifically for when we're doing force on force for law enforcement. but also on the civilian side. I should have some of those products for demonstration at the civilian class October 26th and 27th, and potentially the Train the Trainer class, which is also here in Oklahoma, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. Really cool, just phenomenal stuff. And other than that, man, it was a range day. You know, there's machine guns and M4s and sniper rifles and suppressors and blah, blah, blah. I really enjoyed talking with the First Form people, really good people. Jake and Kaylee, I want to say. That was cool. Kind of sharing my story with them, it's such a gay term, my weight loss journey, what that's been like. You know, woke up one day, saw a video of me, and I was like, dude, you're fat AF. It's probably time to fix that again. And so, down about 70 pounds. Target is 100 pounds. Just yesterday, I ordered a Smith machine for this building here, Refuge, and 490 pounds of plates. So I figured 490 is a good start. So 490 pounds of plates in the Smith machine ordered yesterday for here. And man, you know, it's interesting. I'll put a bow on it like this. 2 Thursdays ago, every Thursday we have a Refuge classroom where myself or someone else will get up and teach. And I taught. And I taught on mindset. I taught on proof, what's our data set. And I'll give you guys the broad brushstrokes here. Your proof, your data set drives your identity. Your identity drives your expectations, and your expectations drive your actions. And so, we, Refuge, have gone through some shit in the last year. People have come, people have gone. My wife and I are back in the company full-time plus, you know, because we had the audacity to have a baby. I had to take a little time off. And I trusted the company to the tutelage of some people that I trusted that, you know, arguably did the best that they could. But reading the tea leaves after the fact that they're gone, I guess we could just say there was plenty of headroom in the execution. Let's just leave it at that. And so our identity, our data set has been one in the last year of like that, coupled with the economy, coupled with global scarcity, pre-hospital supply chain, blah, blah, blah. It's been very reactive, not proactive. And so I told them last Thursday, I was like, that changes today. We are turning the corner today. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And we are turning the corner. It's growth season. We've been pruned. Now it's time to grow. And never mistake pruning season for firewood season. Because the tree that bears bad fruit gets cut down and thrown into the fire. The tree that bears good fruit gets pruned so that it can produce even more, even better fruit. And we're not thrown into the fire because proof of the fact that we still exist stares me in the mirror every morning when I wake up. So it's not firewood season, it's pruning season. And we are turning that corner from pruning season into growth season. Gave that talk 2 Thursdays ago, 10 days ago. And that proof drives our identity. I'm a son of the Most High first. Then I'm a husband. Then I'm a father. Then I'm a pastor. Then I'm founder and CEO. But that identity as a son of the Most High drives my expectation for provision, protection, and blessing from the Most High. Wisdom and discernment from the Spirit. Giftings and talents and delights from the Spirit. Atonement and a model to walk in from Messiah. That's my expectation, which drives my actions. When the manna fell from heaven for the Israelites in the wilderness, it didn't fall into their mouths. It didn't fall into their tents. It fell out there. They had to get off their ass and go get it. And so do we. And so the manna still falls. It's up to us how close we get to it. Movement is life. So, it's very interesting to me. I gave that talk 10 days ago. And now we're here. And many ghosts from my past in the last week have come out of the woodwork to attempt to haunt me. Now, I'm sure they don't see it as haunting me. You know, they just want to reconnect, man. I haven't talked to you in a while, you know. Sorry that I've been off the radar lately. I just wanted to, okay, cool. You know, and even then there's a lesson in that. Just because you're not enemies with somebody doesn't mean you have to be friends with them either. And one of the mistakes that I made in my life is letting people who were acquaintances have the access and placement of friends. So beware of that as well. But the company's strong. The company's healthy. I'm strong. I'm healthy. Me and my wife are strong. Me and my wife are healthy. Like, things are good. It's growth season. It's abundance season. There's more opportunity. I got a call. I'll tell you guys about this real quick, broad brush strokes. I got a call from a guy yesterday wanting to know if we would participate if we were interested in participating in a DARPA program. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA program. I've said neither yes nor no, and I won't tell you what the program is, because if I say yes, well, that'd be an issue, wouldn't it? But the gentleman I was speaking on the phone with about it, completely non-ironically, used the words, yeah, this is really important in the spin up to World War III. Non-ironically. And I was like, oh, spin up to World War III, huh? And he goes, yeah. I was like, so we're there? He goes, oh yeah, we're there. We're all the way there. We've been there for a while. It's like, cool. Well, that dovetails into what I was thinking as well. And so I passed that along to y'all. The spin up to World War III is being, if not openly discussed, it's a known factor amongst those in the defense industry. Act accordingly. So, Moyock was brilliant from an identity standpoint. And the abundance that comes from that identity. See, what you focus on, you'll get. If you look for bad stuff, you'll get bad stuff. If you look for good stuff, you'll get good stuff. And we drove 2,600 miles round trip from Wednesday morning to Friday afternoon. 58 hours, I think, total. Time from this parking lot to time back to this parking lot. First time I've seen the Atlantic Ocean in 15 years. Don't miss it. I-95, not a fan. But it was good. It was good. I mean, we're not even 5 yet. We're just getting started. You know, and it's almost laughable when I see comments from shitheads. You know, YouTube shill, hack. It's like, all right, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? because I actually need to end this video so I can go inside in here and run this multi-million-dollar international company that the Father has blessed me with, that dozens of people are dependent upon for income for their households, to take care of their family, that 155 people are still alive because of. Who are you saving? Where's your content? Who have you taught lately or baptized lately? What sermons have you preached lately? How many memorials have you conducted for fallen brothers lately? When was the last time you wrapped a grown-ass man, a warrior, up in your arms and just let him sob because they need it? Because if they don't get it out, it's going to kill them from the inside. When was the last time you non-ironically carried around a plate carrier and a rifle and knots in your truck in case you get the call that you got to go rescue a kid? Yeah, maybe I am a YouTube hack. If that's what being a YouTube hack looks like, okay, cool. I'll wear it with pride. How many people's lives have you positively affected? How many people are mad at you because you refuse to stay stagnant and continue to grow? And you challenged their very existence, their normalcy, with your own personal growth. Probably zero. And so it's people like that. What I want to tell them to do is a 3-step process. Step 1, pull your compass out. Step 2, shoot an azimuth. Step 3, fuck off in that general direction. But they can't even do that because they didn't come to wilderness class. They don't know how to use that compass. I gotta get to work. I appreciate y'all deeply. Check your identity. Check your data set, your proof. And if you've been in a season of pruning, zoom out. Look at a larger data set and realize your entire life you've been stewarded by a loving creator who has always provided for you, always protected you, always blessed you. That's the data set that you need to adopt the identity as a son or a daughter of the Most High, covered by the blood of the Lamb, so that you can have the expectation of provision, protection, and blessing, so that you can act accordingly in service to the kingdom for the preservation of life.